Time to dive into one of the most visited places on Earth, the beautiful country of France. And because of how large it is and how it stretches to two very different coastlines, France certainly has a different feel in the south than in the north. So I've put together a little something for you showcasing the top 10 must-see places in southern France, and trust me, you're going to want to add these spots to your next trip. Okay, let's cut to the chase and get into this awesome French travel list. Starting from as close to Switzerland as we're going to get, coming in at number 1, we have Lake Annecy. I know, the first few on this list push the border of southern France, but humor me for a bit. Visit this place in the summer because it's the best tourist destination in the area for swimming and water sports, and there's no question why, because the water here is as clean as it gets. The town of Saint-Tropez has you covered with a popular beach, and several chateaus dotting the mountainsides can easily check off those scenery requirements. Coming in as the third largest lake in France, Lake Annecy has a great medieval city on its north edge named, you guessed it, Annecy. Park yourself here for great food and afternoon strolls along the canals and bridges with pristine mountain spring water flowing below. In at number 2 is Lyon, the second most populated metropolitan area in France. Lyon is the perfect starting point for your French travels. Close to Paris, Geneva, Switzerland, and Marseille, the city is usually tacked on many itineraries, especially if you're taking in the French Alps to the east. The city is known for food and architecture, with the latter being on full display just about everywhere you travel here. Old Lyon is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a great medieval and Renaissance vibe, and offers a stark contrast to the newer parts of the city. Students rule and teachers drool. Isn't that how the saying goes? I don't know, but Lyon certainly does. Over 200,000 students call the city home, making Lyon the second largest student city in France, so clearly it attracts the youthful clientele. Jumping west over to the Bay of Biscay, we come to number 3, Bordeaux. This place needs no introduction to the world stage, as it's the capital of wine, and clearly shows this off with the world's premier wine show taking place right in the heart of it. Wine isn't the only thing Bordeaux has going for it though. Home to over 350 historical monuments, the city is a history buff's dream. The architecture and stunning streets attract many tourists as they take in places like the Bordeaux Cathedral or the Place de la Bourse on the way down to the riverfront. I would say there are loads of attractions to see here, and there really is, but we all know we'd be coming here for the grapes and staying for the wine, which is totally okay in my books. Pushing closer to the southern coast, we come to number 4, Avignon. This lovely city is nestled right on the Rhone River and was actually the seat of the Catholic popes from 1309 to 1377, which is on full display at the massive Pope's Palace. The city center in 1995 was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there's no question why. The medieval city core is a charming place and includes plenty to see like the Pope's Palace, the Avignon Cathedral, and Pont Saint-Benazet, a famous bridge that spanned the river which now looks like a bridge to nowhere. Only 4 arches remain of the original 22 due to ongoing flooding and strong currents from the river it spans. Avignon is keeping up with the Joneses and staying on the world map with its renowned annual Performing Arts Festival, which is one of the world's largest. I would try and coordinate your trip around this because I'm sure the city goes full out for its visitors during this time. Coming in at number 5 is the Herault Department. Now we're getting deep into southern France territory, and this is a great starting point to get a little taste of everything. Start from the larger Montpellier and soak in the urban delights, or explore its historic old town with nice winding streets and the Montpellier Cathedral. There's loads to do and see here, so make sure to block off plenty of time. Béziers is another great town just a touch down the coast that offers a lovely French charm coupled with a massive cathedral overlooking the Orbe River. But a couple of diamonds in the rough are a little inland from here with Minerve and Roquebrune. Both are super unique in their geographical locations and really look like they were just dropped into the hillside by accident. These are a little more different spots than most on the list, but I really like the old school charm with the kind of hidden gem feel that they give off as well. For sure worth an afternoon trip to each. Hitting our halfway mark here with number 6, Marseille. This is where we start to move up the coast of France and where things start to get really nice. The oldest city in France, Marseille is most definitely a port city. Vieux-Port, which is Old Port, is massive and will easily consume an afternoon and an evening with local fishermen selling their catch, more boats than you can count, awesome entertainment, and restaurants and bars to fill the night. My recommendation is to first get a bird's eye view from well up at the Notre Dame de la Garde Basilica, then take in some of the city's attractions like the Fort Saint-Jean and the Museum of Civilizations of Europe and the Mediterranean where old meets new, or the Marseille Cathedral conveniently placed right next to the Old Port, where you can go back in time right before flaking off for the afternoon at that waterside cafe you just love. This one is definitely on my travel list for sure. This beauty coastal town on the French Riviera comes in at number 7, Saint-Tropez. Internationally known for resort tourism, amazing water, and even better nightlife, this town is an awesome addition for a day or two if you just want to relax and maybe charter a boat. Goodness knows there's plenty around if you have that extra cash burning a hole in your pocket. For such a small town, Saint-Tropez has a variety of things to see. Take a page from your history book at the Citadel perched high up above the harbor. Indulge in your inner foodie at the Marché de Saint-Tropez for all your local delicacies, or just wander down by the water and soak in the sunshine and salt while enjoying a pastry or two. I think this place would be a great pit stop for tourists traveling between the bigger cities along the coast. Number 8 is Cannes, or is it Cannes? Oh man, I'm gonna get it in the comments for this one, I can just see it now. Still on the French Riviera and squeezing closer and closer to that Italian border, Cannes is your picturesque resort city. Of course, its claim to fame is by far the Cannes Film Festival, bringing in the world's elite movie stars and the paparazzi that go along with them. It does give that allure that brings tourists in, but with it also comes the expensive restaurants and high-end shopping that most prefer to watch from the outside of the windows, if you know what I mean. Oh, and if that doesn't do it for you, feel free to open your wallet for a brand new boat at their famous boat show. Personally, I wouldn't want to stay here longer than a day, but it'd be hard for me to visit so many places close by and just not go to the famous city of Cannes. Number 9 is set aside for Nice. Just barely up the road from Cannes and a hop, skip, and a jump from Monaco, Nice is a lovely spot to soak those feet for a couple of days. Almost hanging over the water's edge and having a long beach right off the main road, it's clear that your job is to just slow down and enjoy the views at this spot. You could walk for days along the promenade and take in the ports, the Pebble Beach, and the countless restaurants, or venture inland a few streets and experience what the city really has to offer. A few family members have been here and said it was just a great place to sit back and enjoy the coastal breeze. Something definitely to consider when planning that busy itinerary. And finally, rounding out this list at number 10 is the beautiful island of Corsica. Okay, this island is pretty big and would definitely be a commitment if you were looking to see all of it. But if you're looking for that laid-back French experience, then this is absolutely the place to be. Littered with amazing beaches and mountainous terrain, the views are out of a magazine. Of course, there are plenty of towns to make every day unique, but not ones that are so big they make things overwhelming. On the island's west coast, places like Ajaccio and Calvi will certainly keep you busy, or head north to Bastia for a good old port town. There are loads of places in between, but make sure to hit up Bonifacio in the south because it's just super unique and will totally blow your mind. Either way, I think a stop over here for a few days would totally recharge the batteries or just give you that slow down pace that you might be looking for. Okay, good stuff. So that caps off my top 10 places to see in southern France. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if so, give it a big thumbs up, or maybe even a subscribe if you're feeling really generous. Keep your eyes open for more of my top travel lists in the future, and thanks again for watching.